So in this video I'm going to give you some updates regarding the most recent search, and also at the end of that I'm going to play some more interviews that have been done with the stepfather Daniel Martel. So for those of you who may not be aware of the case, we are talking about Jack and Lily Sullivan, who went missing from their home in Nova Scotia on the 2nd of May. There have been multiple searches looking for them since that time, and to date they have not been found. I have created a playlist which is becoming quite long, so if you do want to catch up on this case, then hop over to my playlists and you will find a Lily and Jack Sullivan playlist with everything that's happened in the last in the last month. Now, while I talk about the search, I thought it would be appropriate to play some drone footage of the area, just to give you some idea of the challenges that are being faced by searchers. Now, in terms of searches, as you are aware, there have been ground searches, drone searches and helicopter searches. In the early days, the drones and helicopters were using FLIR technology, which is infrared technology, which basically looks for heat sources. The helicopters also had high definition images, and I'll do a proper video on that at another date. I believe it's called enhanced visuals. So essentially the technology that's been thrown at this case is definitely quite decent. Obviously they've had hundreds of searchers out at various times looking in the area. As mentioned, one of the biggest obstacles is there are a lot of trees down in the area due to storm damage. Now, I would imagine that what you can see there is what they're calling the pipeline trail. That's just a guess. Now, let's talk about the search. So, as you know, there was a new search began this weekend just gone. It was announced that they would be focusing on the pipeline trail. Once again, basically the area where they had spotted a few boot prints. And again, the Facebook trolls have been hopping in and making up false stories. There is only one lot of audio from dispatch where they discuss finding boot prints. There weren't additional boot prints found, so we can put that to bed straight away. Why are they redoing that area? Let's go back and talk about the search. So CBC News did an interview with Amy Hansen. Now, you would have seen her in the presses that were held. She is the search coordinator for Colchester Ground Search and Rescue. So what was said in that interview is that, first of all, the search is expected to be ended or suspended on Sunday evening, which I'm guessing that's gone now. Being in Australia, I'm not sure when Sunday evening actually is for people in Pictou County. She said that is, of course, barring any new information. She has said there have been no new finds over the weekend, so it's, I wouldn't say fruitless, it's still eliminated more possibilities. So no search could be really deemed as fruitless. She did, however, emphasise that with regards to the boot prints, the reason they were searching there was because that was all they had to go on. She said the boot print has never been established as being related to the missing kids. However, since that was pretty much all they've got to go on, they wanted to go back over that, essentially. Over the weekend, there were 80 searches, and as I've said, they were focusing on the pipeline trail because of the boot print. What Amy Hansen also said was that the searches are beginning to wear out mentally and physically. And in fact, there are some people who made the decision not to return to the search over the weekend because of either physical exhaustion or burnout or mental exhaustion, or a combination of all of the above. Now, I should also mention that there were 7 other search teams involved, including teams from Pictou County, East, Hants Strait, Halifax, and a few other areas. Now, let's go on and talk about the stepfather, Daniel Martel. So, the information that's been given by family members of Malaya is that she has been instructed not to speak publicly, not to speak to the media, not to come out and speak about the case. And that is standard protocol when it comes to these sorts of investigations. So it's interesting that the stepfather is still speaking out. So Daniel Martel has done 2 more interviews. I'm going to play them. I'm going to give just brief comments on them because I am going to go back over them in another video and have a more in-depth discussion of what I'm seeing. So let's have a look at these 2 most recent interviews with Daniel.
It's been 4 weeks since Daniel Martel has seen his stepchildren. 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan were reported missing Friday, May 2nd, after they wandered out of their Pictou County home. They have not been found after weeks of extensive searching the heavily wooded area.
Every day when I wake up, it just feels like I'm reliving a nightmare of May 2nd.
Okay, so apologies to the Daniel Martel fan club out there, but I just want to point out the fact that when children go missing, you generally see a deterioration in the appearance of parents. They tend to be looking less well kept. They don't necessarily have fancy new clothes and new tips in their hair. And they certainly wouldn't look 4 weeks down the track with their children still missing far more healthy than they did at the time when the children first disappeared. So I do have some questions for Daniel Martel, but I'm pretty certain he's not going to answer them for me.
But the main feelings from sadness have just turned to anger because there's no evidence as of after 1 month, and it's really taken a toll.
I'm not really seeing those signs of it having taken a toll, and I'm also not seeing signs of anger.
On Friday, RCMP say ground search and rescue crews and police will return to the area this weekend, focusing on a nearby pipeline trail where a boot print was previously located.
I know that they're working hard and they're using every resource they have, and it makes me hopeful because that's all we have at this point is just hope.
Martel says every detail helps and could lead to finding Lily and Jack.
I'm going to keep fighting for the rest of my life to find these kids. That's the only goal I have at this point.
Does anyone remember Sammy Smith in the Kylie Rodney case, who claimed that she was not going to go anywhere until Kylie was found? She was going to continue searching for as long as it took. Just doing a little comparison there. If you know, you know.
The children's stepfather, Daniel Martel, says he has been interviewed extensively since Lily and Jack were first reported missing.
You mentioned last time we chatted that you'd offered to do a polygraph test.
That is correct.
Has that already happened?
That has happened.
Right. And did you get results from that yet?
I do have results, and I don't know if I can share those results, but they were good in my favor, we'll say that.
So apparently they were good in his favour. As mentioned in my previous video, since polygraph tests rely on physiological changes, they're not overly reliable. A person can do a polygraph test and be confident enough that they don't actually register as being deceitful. So, first of all, we've still not had any info from the Mounties saying that anybody has been cleared in this case. We've also not had any outside information with regards to polygraph tests, so take that as you will.
Martel says he is glad the police have put out the additional call for footage and is again asking anyone with information to come forward. Despite not having had contact with the children's mother Malaya since May 3rd when she left the search area, he says an RCMP liaison has been assigned to keep them both informed as the investigation progresses.
Trust the RCMP word, and I mean, you don't have to trust my word, but I'm the only one doing media for Jack and Lily, trying to keep the story alive and get them found.
I find that to be a slightly odd comment, but I will discuss that in another video. So, there's your updates. Basically, the search is once again being suspended, and if you hadn't seen the footage of these latest 2 interviews with Daniel, I thought you may have been interested in seeing it. Let's hope that sometime soon there will be some positive answers that come out with regards to these 2 missing children. It's now been a month with no sign of them, which is just so very, very sad. So let's hope for some kind of breakthrough in this case in the near future. So on that note, thanks for listening. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. Also, please hit the like button and please leave a comment below. Thank you, and I will catch you in the next one.